Okay, we get our next series up. Underdog Cup continues. We are in the winner bracket in the round of 8. Had some fun games today already. Now we have Big Click Energy and Nakiveen. So our Finnish team. Could be a fun one. So we already had one of the players being a few minutes late because they didn't expect the previous series to be this quick. And it was Slithery Snack. And I think snack translates into snail, so it's no surprise that he was late. He was slithering his way back into the game apparently, and his client took a little bit longer, but it was only a few minutes, so we're all good here. It should be a fun one. We are in the Underdog Cup, we are in the winner bracket. Again, the teams here are playing in Heroes Lounge, normally Division 4, Division 5, so we're currently looking at the lower end of the skill spectrum. And it's kind of fun to see the teams and how they adjust to the patch and what kind of strategies they're coming up with in this context. Now, obviously, it is supposed to shine also a bit of a light onto the amateur scene in general. So again, if you haven't checked them out yet, I would highly recommend you go to heroeslounge.gg. If I haven't forgotten to add it, you will find a link also in the description where you can have a look. It's the biggest amateur scene that we have in Europe. And a pretty awesome one at that. So they've been around for a long, long time. Have tons of hundreds of players playing in it, and you can participate no matter what skill level you are at. If you are interested in playing with like-minded people that want to, improve as a team, that want to talk strategy, then you are at the right place. Doesn't matter if you're in Wood League or if you're a Grandmaster, everybody can participate there. And yeah, they're a lot of fun. So the teams are participating in that context. This is also organized by Heroes Lounge. We have Vala as our first pick in game number 1 as we're heading to Sky Temple as our first map. And I'm still wondering... Yes, there's Amethyst. I'm still wondering what kind of crazy picks we're getting today. Because we already had some wild stuff happening on day number 1. And even here in day number 2, some pretty cool ones. So we get Amethyst for Sky Temple. And then, of course, the question that has to be asked immediately is... Who's Amethyst main target going to be? What are we going to get as a copy target? Is it going to be some Samuro play, Abathur Samuro, or what else? Maybe Greymane. You go for the double Greymane combo and you're trying to take some structures out. Big Click Energy with very, very quick picks into all of their damage dealers. Vala plus Orphea. And then we get Leoric as well. When it comes to the bans, I mean, you can target you can target more frontliners. They already banned out Johanna and Varian, so if they're really trying to get rid of some of the tanks that could possibly be taken by the blue team, this would be a chance to ban out another one and then pick their own, of course. But they go for Stukov. Alright, so they don't want to have the poor man's buried alive with Leo dropping his entomb and then Stukov coming in with a lurking arm. Final ban. I mean, right now, okay, they go Anduin. Not what I expected. I really thought they would get rid of some of the heroes that sync well with Abathur. And Greymane would have been my personal pick here. Either that or Samuro. I mean, you have now Abathur, Sylvanas. If you get Greymane too, this is a pretty scary push that you can set up. Double Greymane plus Sylvanas. You are taking structures down mega quickly. Always assuming that Abathur goes for the copy in the first place. I would assume that's what we're going to get, but you never know when you're talking about Division 4 and 5. We have Rhaegar, and we got Sonya. I remember now some of those names in the picks. Yes, Rhaegar called Simba, and then he goes for Rhaegar here. We don't have a line in the game. Not really. I mean, Greymane has that skin, but that doesn't really count. That makes him look like a clown more than anything else. But yeah, Simba over here. So, who's going to be his Mufasa in our game? Final two picks, Alexstrasza. Okay, oh, Stitches Alexstrasza. Somebody watch the Eternal Conflict. That Stitches game was insane. Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, we had a Stitches Alexstrasza comp that broke all the records. If you haven't seen this, do yourself a favor. Go to my YouTube channel, where you might watch this right now, and just browse a little bit through the video list. There is one video with Stitches actually Alexstrasza on the thumbnail, and you will very quickly find it in the title too, and it was absolutely insane. Tomb of Spider Queen, Stitches Alexstrasza, and it was just unbelievable. Here now we have the same combo, goes up against Muradin and Sonya as the final two picks. So with that we're heading into Sky Temple's our first map in the best of 3 series. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. Big Click Energy versus Nakiveen. Game number 1. On the left side, we have Big Click Energy. And now that I'm looking at the team name, I have actually no idea what kind of brain fart happened when I put the name onto the board, but obviously it's not spelled like this. So they embrace the meme fully, and I adjusted it now accordingly. But yeah, sorry for the typo here. On the left, we got Lekka Hapir on Vala with an auto attack build. We got Yefog on Leoric, Fireborn on Stitches, Oblivion on Alexstrasza, Hungry for More, and Circle of Life. Midnight is playing Orphea, and over on the right side we got Nakiveen with Odorox on Murden, Laza Mehu on Abatha, Simba on Rhaegar, TT on Sylvanas, and Slithery Snack is playing with Sonya. And they're already getting aggressive at the top lane with Sylvanas here. So the thing is that I mean, again, for people that don't know this, I don't only commentate the games, I also adjust all of the overlays, I observe, and I do essentially everything by myself. If I have tournaments that I run myself, then I sometimes have an admin that is helping me out with some of the things, but generally speaking, most of the stuff is done by me. So while I'm talking about the previous game and about the next one that's coming up, I'm also adjusting the team names when we move from one match to the next. And yeah, sometimes you just, you look at the team name, you have it in your head, you're talking to the stream at the same time, and you might do a third thing, just double checking, for example, what's happening on Discord, if the teams are getting ready for the next map, and then you have the occasional typo sliding in. But this one was actually kind of fun. Big click energy. So yeah, so now everything is properly done, but still kind of amusing. We already have I mean, there's a couple of different approaches that we're seeing right now. First of all, Nakiveen is getting very aggressive with pushing for structures, and it's working out for them. Because what the blue team is interested in doing is rotate between lanes and getting stacks together for Stitches and for Alexstrasza. They want to build Stitches at an absolute insane tank here. And it's going to get very interesting. I want to see if they... I mean, late game is obviously going to be interesting in the context of Stitches maybe becoming unkillable. So that could be happening here. Sylvanas gets caught though. And they get a counter kill as Vala dies too. And Vala is of course now losing also some of the attack speed that she has here. The red team is just crushing structures, and on Sky Temple, that is a massive, massive advantage if you're able to take this many out without even using the objective. So, I'm a bit worried for the blue team, I gotta say. I like the idea that they have with Alexstrasza and with Stitches. Again, we've just seen that recently in the context of the Eternal Conflict tournament, and Stitches was unkillable towards the end. I mean, it was just absurd how many stacks he had on his level 1. So we'll actually have a bit of a look of how this plays out when we're heading into the mid and the late game. But for now, the blue team is just losing a little bit too much ground. If they want to have a late game composition that scales well and then center all of this around team fights where Stitches is just soaking up all the damage, that's great. But Nakiveen is splitting onto the lanes very aggressively and just trying to take structures out. And it's so far working. Sonya has now taken control over the top temple and is getting shots fired against the fort, which might fall. Sylvanas is just pushing with minion waves, and since the Inspire mechanic is now super strong, here comes Possession, and she's just doing tons of work here. So there's a rotation with Muradin coming down too. There's the hit, and that's a dead Orphea. And they can still pressure for the structures with the next wave coming in. So you get possession, you take over your opponent's minions, and then you just push out these structures and take them apart. And that allows them to go for the fort at the bottom of the map with ease. If you leave Sylvanas alone on a lane, then it is going to spell out disaster for you. And this is exactly what Big Click Energy just did. Mainly because they thought that Orphea could handle this by herself, which wasn't really the case. And then Muradin came in, and that, again, made matters worse. We still have some shots fired over in the middle, but there's 2 forts now destroyed on the blue team side, and even more damage done in the mid lane. So, as I said before, Sylvanas in this context can be a real problem. And one of the reasons why we set this tournament up in the first place is, of course, to give a bit of exposure to the amateur scene, as I already explained. But another reason is because it's kind of curious to see what kind of impact the changes in the patch have on the lower level after we already had a tournament on the top level of play. And you can see that someone like Sylvanas, when played correctly, can have by herself an insane impact. I mean, we're talking first objective of the game, and the blue team has lost 2 of their forts. So the passive XP increase alone is already a problem. And of course, Abathar is now in a situation where he can also push these lanes out further, and we're not even on level 10 yet, where we still expect the copy. Mule should be called down in the middle so that it can repair. Top side is getting pushed a little bit. Bottom of the map, we are seeing similar things happening right now. 14 stacks for Stitches. Alexstrasza is sitting at 12, so she's soon going to get her thing. Yep. Somebody's flying away over here. Little Easter egg, obviously. In case that you weren't aware of this, but Sky Temple is situated right above Tomb of the Spider Queen. So you have on both of the maps little Easter eggs around... I keep forgetting what his name is in the Nexus. Harrison Ford thingy. So basically they're going full Indiana Jones on this, but they have their own name for it. Keep forgetting what it is, but yeah. That's what you just saw there. Now, we get the ults that we expect. We have for Sonya, Leap. Harrison Jones, that's the one. And Sylvanas down at the bottom of the map, doing her thing here too. Still easily defending against the Siege Giants. No level 10 yet for the blue team. And with 3 kills to 2, we'll see what we get here. Interestingly enough, they haven't completed the quest for Alexstrasza yet. You should not head back. There's a globe coming any second. Priorities. It's all about priorities. And yeah, they're getting that globe a little bit too quickly. So Stitches is adding more to his tally, but we don't have that for Alexstrasza, so we still have to wait for that. Still the attack down at the bottom of the map, with Orthodox now taking the temple. It's only a single one, and it will likely end with the fort being destroyed, because the blue team until now didn't have level 10 abilities that they could use to push. They're now trying to take over, and Sylvanas, she's in the middle, so they're splitting on the map. It's a full Red Dota approach that we're getting from Nakivine, just going for some side lane pressure. And I honestly like this about the patch. You can play the strategy, you don't have to. And if you are map aware, then an opponent can always counteract that fairly easily. But finally you have now the option to at least focus a bit more on macro and don't have to brawl it out the entire time. So you have both options right now. Big brawl games, of course, still very much so, I want to say, the standard. But macro has become more important, which is definitely a good thing. But in this case, more damage done up at the top. And the blue team just has a problem reacting to this. Down at the bottom of the map, a little bit of damage done by Leorki. The problem is that Abathar is already working with Mule to repair the damage that has been done. So Leo with little impact here. Damage output. Alexstrasza, by the way, done with her quest, so now she can feed Stitches more globes. Damage output, 12,000 for Vala. We got 10k for Abathar so far. Not a single fort left standing on the blue team side. And in comparison, Nakivine has still every single fort in play. Has now a 1.5 level lead, a little 13 talent advantage over the opponent's team. And is doing very well here. Sylvanas as usual with a little bit of possession, making her plays and ensuring that they have more lane pressure that Abathar can obviously jump onto as well. Boss is up on the map. Double temple will be next. Leo! Someone made a mistake. He's like, no! He tries to get away, but absolutely no chance. So Leorki is gone. That's another kill for the red team. Mirrodin is already moving towards the mid lane. Stitches is at 19 globes, so he's going to get a 20th in a moment, which means that we have him at 20, so additional 5% movement speed are kicking in for him as well. Leap is ready, and Orphea is gone. Well, Stitches at least gets his globes in the camp, but Alexstrasza has been eliminated, and Stitches becomes the target a moment later. Kicks in with another Devour, but gets dropped too, so that's a triple kill. 7 kills to 2, and now the boss is wide open, and it's of course what the red team is jumping on. They have a 3 level lead, more than that, well, no, 2.5 level lead. They're going to get that boss, and it's a double temple that is coming up. So big click energy with serious problems that they have to somehow deal with. And it's not going to be easy for them at all, given how this is currently playing out here. So, yeah, a little bit tricky. Now we have the boss moving on the map. At the same time, we have also still some plays made down at the bottom of the map with the next temple about to be taken. And as the shots are being fired, we're starting to attack the keeps directly. Mid lane has been claimed too. That boss still being defended. It's a 3-level gap with a level 16 talent advantage now for the red team. And with that, they have envenomed spikes here. Muradin is obviously going to benefit from all of this as well. And is going to be a really tough nut to crack. Sonya's pushing out the top lane. They're everywhere right now. Every single lane is basically pushed by them. They're getting big damage in on those keeps already. They haven't lost anything. Abathur's calling down one mule after another. And Sylvanas is ensuring that they're getting all of the shots at the bottom of the map too, which is going to push this keep down even further. So while no keep was lost right here, it still means that for the blue team, this is going to become an utter disaster if they're not able to force some fights and win team battles. And they're not going to be able to get the level 16 in order to make that happen before the next objective gets spawned or the red team makes their play. So you have to pick a spot and fight a battle eventually. They're trailing behind in experience massively. I mean, the passive experience gap alone is already crazy. Abathur is still pushing the lanes as best as he can. We're looking at the blue team attempting to defend down at the bottom of the map as best as possible for them right now. There's a few siege giant camps that he could possibly aim for, but it's a tough one, of course. Level 16 not taken yet by Sonya, and they're pushing at the top again. And the blue team, yep, they're down at the bottom of the map. There's obviously toxic nests everywhere, so that gives you some vision, and that allows for a sneaky little move by Nakiveen to go for the top side keep and damage it slightly. You don't want to take the entire thing. They still want to retreat and do, but they've done easy damage on the keep. That's half of the HP gone. Siege Giants, to be fair then, are at least doing some counter damage at the bottom of the map as they're starting to take that fort out. There's also the minion waves that are now coming in. Abathur and Sylvanas are now working in tandem to take these out as quickly as they can, but that's of course some HP at least lost. The difference is, on the one hand, we're talking about the keep, on the other about a fort, and then there's this little fella that can easily heal that damage back up. So, double temple activating now. Great job, by the way, by Abathur to the entire time put those nests around, give them a bit more map awareness, and just more or less acting like some legal map hack where they continuously know about the opponent's position. With all of the keeps already damaged, the blue team needs to go for a fight. They want level 16 first, now that they're so close to having it, but them delaying just means that they're going to lose keeps without even having the chance for a fight. So now it's all about trying to at least take the middle, but the keep at the top is now going to get destroyed, and with Sonya staying on this even longer, I actually don't understand why she moves away. If nobody moving over towards her, she could have just continued firing shots and forced the keep down in the middle too. So they are on level 19, and all they got to do is play around the opponent. They don't even have to go for any big fight. And Sylvanas, for example, is already doing this at the bottom of the map. Comes in, could use possession again, does that right at the front, and is now going for the next keep. And this one will be destroyed as well. All of the keeps are gone. Every single keep destroyed. And the red team hasn't lost a fort yet. Maybe they can kill Rhaegar here. Put into a corner, self-ancestrals, leap, and Vala is down. Nakiveen is just absolutely dominant here. Stitches gets the heal. The entire idea and strategy that we had for the blue team just never worked out properly for them. Sylvanas is just trying to go for the core. The core is already losing hit points with the catapult starting to fire away here. And Leo is the only one attempting to do something about it. But Sylph jumps out. We got level 20 talents now available as well. The core already down to 87%. Sylvanas had to retreat. Muradin, he's still chasing, by the way, or the Muradin copy is still chasing. Muradin himself still with the team and might actually start to target Stitches here. Jumps in, hits the Stormbolt, and Fireborn goes down. Nobody able to help him out and heal him. 14 seconds until the boss is back up, by the way. And yeah, the blue team is just suffering, and oh, they're losing Ophia too. That is kill number 10 for the red team. And they're locking in another one on Alexstrasza. And that's gonna be game. Game number 1 goes over to Nakivin. They're able to win on Sky Temple. Pretty convincingly. Very big focus on the macro plays, but with some nice team fights and ganks too. The red team a little bit superior here as we are getting ready to head straight for map number 2. GG. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before we continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Tomb of the Spider Queen, map number 2. This is honestly a map where I would love to see the Alexstrasza Stitches comp. I think on this map it is a little bit better. You get more globes through rotating between lanes, and then you have obviously the Stitches factor too. Unfortunately, with the heroes already played in game number 1, you can't play them again on the second map. So heroes are limited to 1 use per series. But Nakivin with some very nice moves in game number 1. I like that they approached this more from a macro perspective. This is going to be a bit more difficult playing on Tomb now. Has been the choice of Big Click Energy, by the way. So the blue team decided after losing that they want to have the map choice. Varian banned out. And after we just saw good old Abatha, I'm a bit intrigued to see what the red team has up their sleeve next. But it was an extremely close, well, not close. It was an extremely clean performance by the red team. They really out-rotated the opponent's team, took an experience gain early through the structures that they destroyed. And it just really shows you that you have to be aware where your opponent is pushing. It also highlighted again how dangerous it can be when your opponent has Sylvanas and you don't react at the beginning of the game and have heroes split on multiple lanes. They moved into the middle, Sylvanas started attacking the top, the first tower falls, the gate falls, structures are gone, the temples do more damage, and all of a sudden, you know, it just starts snowballing because one team just doesn't mirror the movement. So you really have to be careful with your minimap awareness and also think about what your opponent is trying to accomplish here. And yeah, react to it. Most of the teams that you face up against will focus on the first 2 temples once they spawn. In this case, the red team used Sylvanas at the bottom of the map to go for a solo push and got an entire fort out of it. So they got tons and tons of damage, and yeah, you have to react to that properly, and Big Click Energy struggled with that a bit. Now, Hogger gets banned out. We have bans on Tychus and on Varian. Nezebo banned. Okay. So, no Witch Doctor on this. One of the heroes that I would not mind seeing again if they really think about pushing is Azmodan, as usual. You have a map where you can, with orbs, control a lot of the minion waves if you play your cards right. Jojo as a first pick would of course be strong once again, but yeah, if you wanted to play some of these, then going into an Azmodan pick would really help. You just use someone like Johanna or any other damage dealer early on to try and get him lots of stacks, and he gets level 7, can continue stacking by himself, and sooner rather than later you not only have your trait that pushes side lanes, but also the orb that can basically hit any lane, and you get more pressure against your opponent. So if that's an idea that they have, then they could use it. This is something that has been done in the past on Tomb of the Spider Queen. The initial map where we saw Jojo Azmodan was Blackheart's Bay. And yeah, there we get Junkrat and we get Anduin. Alright. So, yeah, those were the good old times. We always had like strategies that European teams came up with, and then 4 months later, NA started to use the same strategy and trying to brand it as their own, and everybody's like, guys, we know that you don't really watch the European play, but that's an old one. Long time ago. What was that? 8 years ago now? 7 years ago? Something like that. So, Dehaga gets banned. We get Anduin and Junkrat to kick things off for damage on the side of Nakivin. Junkrat obviously another great pick on this one. I still would... I kind of expect that we're going to get some specialist picks. The one thing that really surprises me a bit is that at least on this level we haven't seen any kind of Zagara Nidus usage. I am still waiting for that. I think on an amateur level you can, if you want to play macro game, get a lot done with Zagara Nidus if you play your cards right. For Nakiveen, for example, if they play on a map like Sky Temple and they want to have a similar impact with their strategy, even with Abathar, you could play Abathar Zagara and just go for that. But even without it, I think Zagara Nidus for teams on this level might be something that gives you a lot of worth with little effort, as long as you're map aware and you communicate well with the rest of the team to call out potential danger. But haven't seen anything like this yet. Now we get Jaina, we get Lunara, so Bambi is in the house. After Garrosh throws a target and Malfurion puts a root down, Jaina can follow up on the isolated target with quick burst damage, and Lunara can of course burn things down slowly also from a distance, depending on her level 10 choice. We get Blaze and we get Gul'dan, so no real shocking surprises or anything. We have Jojo and Blaze. This is a really straight up comp that we're getting from the team. Lots of wave clear, lots of AoE that they're currently running. We got the Horrify from Gul'dan as another tool that they can use to break a fight. And then for the final pick, we still need a side laner for the blue team, as we're heading into our second map of the best of 3 series. We're still in the winner bracket, obviously. The loser will have another chance in the lower bracket. But it is Thrall, and well, let's find out if the blue team can bring it back, or if Nakiveen is able to win game number 2. Nakiveen is in the lead, and Big Click Energy tries to force game number 3. We have them on the left with Lekahapia on Jaina, Oblivion on Malfurion. Yefog is playing Thrall, Midna Lunara, and then Fireborn on Garrosh. For the red team, aiming to close this out with a 2-0, we got Odorox on Johanna, TT on Gul'dan, Lazamehu on Anduin, Simba with Blaze, and Slithery Snack is playing Junkrat. This is, by the way, another thing that you're going to see more often on the lower level of play, that you have a lot of teams where you will see role swaps between games. For example, we had Simba playing Rhaegar on the last map, and now he's the one playing Blaze. So a lot of the guys, as I already said before, are usually focusing on maybe like 2-3 heroes that they mainly play, and since a lot of them also play then solo, as they're queuing solo online, it means that they have to play through different roles, so it's not really all that much specialization that we have with others. So that sometimes makes for some pretty interesting twists. Gul'dan stacking on level 1, by the way, went for the Echoed Corruption and already got himself a few hits in the brawl that they had in the middle. Bot lane has been established with Thrall and Blaze playing this one out. And yeah, well, at the same time now, the little attack to attempt and see if they can get that camp quickly. Blue team has so far not made a move for it, so they're gonna trail behind. 30 seconds in, this is where the camps now spawn. That's another change from the recent patch. Previously it was the 1 minute mark, and Blizzard changed that slightly. We're now having, on top of that, the camp already moving straight through the middle. And the defense, I think they're going to set this up a little bit too late, but there's nobody taking that minion wave out, so the blue team is going to have some extra time on this. Red team has already started to rotate over, and they're trying to take the siege giants at the bottom of the map from the looks of it. Thrall, yeah, get some hits, and Simba is fine. Okay, so Cam still colliding over there in the middle. We're now having Lunara all alone up at the top. For Big Click Energy, one of their problems was obviously that they had troubles reacting to the macro aspects of the strategy that the red team was running on Sky Temple. Now it's a bit different since it's a way smaller map, which was chosen by the blue team, maybe for that very reason. So there's a lot more potential to just have straight up team fights here, which is essentially what they're looking for. We have them with Garrosh and a fairly nice combo that they can use if they can just sync this up properly. More stuns and CCs than also coming from Thrall on the side lane, of course. Right now, not a single kill yet, but we have our level 4 talents kicking in, as teams are also getting more and more gems for the first turn in. Lunara with Blossom Swell on level 4, and Thrall is going for the Frostwolf pack, so he is trying to stack this up here. Down at the bottom of the map, the attack is already coming. Yefog needs to be a bit careful, there could be a rotation coming in from the middle. Turn-ins have happened, not a lot, but we've seen a little bit. We've already 15 delivered. And the blue team is 5-manning the siege giant camp. So yeah, full 5-man at the bottom of the map, just saying like, boys, we'll take this. No matter the cost. Let's go and get it. Which allowed for additional gems to be turned in, so they did that. Now, of course, they can try and get a little bit more done. Just looking at the general play here at the bottom of the map. I mean, for example, if you are in a spot where you can then come in and push those siege giants into the towers, into the gates, and are able to take that out, then hey, even better. Junkrat, topside, still all alone. In experience, they're both nearly identical. Blue team is attempting to turn in as well, though. They delivered a few gems, but not too many. Each team has enough gems for a turn-in. So both of the teams are now in a position where they can get that turn-in. So, you could see that. Down at the bottom of the map now, still our 1v1. And these two, for example, are still holding a fair chunk. It's going to be an easy interrupt right there from Thrall, so not a problem for him. Is able to deliver that quickly. Junkrat is doing the same thing at the top, trying to prevent the blue team from getting any further ahead on this. It's obviously still a bit curious to see if they can do a bit more here. Thrall completes his quest, so that's a good news. 38 to 35 gems now. Who gets the first web weavers? The attack here is coming as we have another interrupt from Malfurion. Junkrat has started to move towards the top to deal with the next wave. Not a single kill yet. We're nearly 5 minutes into the game. Haven't seen any kills just yet. Everybody super aggressive, trying to prevent the opponent from turning in and looking for the first opportunity to get first blood here. But Jojo is now getting zoned out, and I think this is the moment where the blue team is finally going to get it. Yep. Jojo was the only one trying to interrupt. They needed somebody else to help out, especially with the blue team showing up in force. So, yeah, that didn't really do anything for them. Now, with this said and done, we have down at the bottom of the map still Blaze with 15 gems. The web weavers are coming, and this is where the team could try and make a real dent into all of this. I mean, if you get a fort down already, that would be amazing, but at the minimum, try and eliminate a few of the walls. Gul'dan, if he assists at the top, can also stack his level 1 a bit further. He's currently sitting at 15 stacks. Would need a few more. Lunara poking and prodding, and they're starting to break through that wall. Gul'dan defending the mid lane by himself, and right now it doesn't really look like there is too much that the blue team can do here. Thrall probably has the best shot at the bot lane, but Gul'dan is about to help him out here. Jet propulsion, nice! And that hit with Echoed Corruption just comes a little bit too late to have a serious impact. So a couple of the towers are eliminated. This is basically the best that Big Click Energy could do here with their first turn-in. Nobody died, which means all of the gems that we had on the red team side are now still available and will likely now be used for their own web weaver wave. Unless, of course, someone like Junkrat gets caught here. Jukes out and is able to get away. Nice. Rest of the team was able to come through the middle to help him out here. A bit of an aggression against Thrall at the bot lane. 12 gems for him. Here's the turn-in attempt. Blue team again attempting to interrupt. As the next camp is about to be taken over here. It's a really interesting one, because after game number 1, it really felt like Nakivin is going to absolutely crush through this. Right now, it's more on eye level what we're seeing. You could maybe argue that the blue team did too little with their first objective, but now we have level 10 abilities on both sides. Pretty much exactly the talents that you would expect with no real surprises. Maybe Thrall with Earthquake over Sundering, something to point out here. We have still the attempt to get the turn in. Maybe now the first kill. Horrify! And Garrosh is gone. Nakivin with first blood in the game. Able to make the play here. So, yeah, good for them. Red Web Weavers now descending, and the chance, the opportunity to maybe take some structures out. Garrosh still gone for another 5 seconds. They're trying to chase down Junkrat, which obviously also means if they can't take him down, that they are using a lot of time to accomplish very little. Thrall is pushing Blaze at the bottom of the map with those siege giants on the other hand. So the blue team is actually not that badly set up for a proper defense. I mean, this Web Weaver, for example, is going to take massive damage before it even gets to the wall. Top side, that's a different story. This is where they're now making their biggest play, I'd say. Or at least where they're trying to. So we'll see if they can break through this. Junkrat I mean, he's all over the place and was already earlier. So Garrosh with a nice little attempt to take Junkrat out. Wasn't quite able to make that play, but they're shutting the aggression down. So the bot lane is the only lane where the Web Weavers could still make some moves, and Thrall just committed to Earthquake and forces them back here, which means that both of the teams haven't really been able to do a lot of actual damage with their first objective. Now, Thrall might still be in trouble, and with 20 gems, that's the problem. But Gul'dan, there comes the light bomb, and here comes the flank, the blue team. They're out for blood. They want some kills here, and it would be shocking if they didn't get any. Question is how many? Quest completed for Jojo, that's big, and the Crybaby is the one that falls. They go for Anduin, and they take him out, which is kind of surprising. Usually when you are thinking Anduin, then you're thinking about a hero that is exceptionally good at running away. It always feels that he's a little bit faster than everybody else as he's trying to rush out of those fights. But in this case, yeah, that didn't happen. So in this case right now, Anduin is the one that all of a sudden gets caught and gets murdered. So, yeah, good for them, I guess. But here come the Web Weavers again for the blue team. After they got Anduin down, they turned in the gems that they had and have now a chance to take the first fort out. It's a kill for a kill and a much, much closer game than we saw on the previous map. So, yeah, down at the bottom of the map, we got EFOG still pushing. And 13 is on the board. Slight talent advantage now. They're trying again for the next attack here. And the fort at the top is going to fall at a minimum. So that one's definitely down. Thrall will have to retreat at the bottom of the map. It's kind of interesting, by the way, that they're setting up 2 to deal with Thrall, but that costs them the fort at the top. So Nakiveen is definitely having a much harder time in game number 2 than they had on the previous map. When they can play more of a macro style, then they seem to really have the edge, but on this small map, it's just not a viable option, at least not to the same extent that it was on Sky Temple. So, if Nakiveen actually loses here, I would not be shocked to see them pick a bigger map against their opponents for game number 3. That would not surprise me whatsoever, given how this has played out so far. 17,000 damage from Junkrat. We got 20,000 from Thrall. Another camp claimed. Experience still very much the same. But here comes the turn-in for the red team, so they get their own Web Weavers. And they have to, of course, try to at least take one of the forts out. Bottom of the map, they still got to deal with this push. This is the moment where you really need a little bit of an assistance. The blue team is pushing in with everything they have. The flank is coming, though. Ooh, it's not coming. They're going for the safe path instead. So that was free damage on the fort, where they didn't get punished for it at all. Lunara is already in the middle in an attempt to defend. And everybody else pressuring through the bot lane. Starting to go towards the middle, though, to protect the Web Weaver. And even at the top is now where we're seeing the same. Garrosh is coming in. They're trying to waste some time. Oh, the tactical pause. Look at that. The snack with the pause. Nobody disconnected from the looks of it here. Yeah, pausing the game to debate a bit on to which lane they need to attack right now. Are they going to go for the top lane? Are they going to go for the middle? So, sneaky. Real 3-2-3 moment here in game number 2. And we're back and good to go. Seems like there was something... Oh, the blessed shield! And then instantly Thrall trying to counter it. Horrify has been used though. Earthquake on the ground. And it is Gul'dan that they focus on. The fight initiated by Nakiveen. And now they're losing Gul'dan. Junkrat wasn't with them. Neither was Lunara, to be fair. So it was a 4 versus 4 from the start. But with Junkrat, they were able to go for the middle. This, on the other hand, an utter disaster. Blaze going down, and the big problem is that this is 40 gems down the drain. So initially losing Gul'dan was not that big of a deal, especially with Junkrat being able to take the fort out in the middle of the map. Still pushing the top lane a bit. But losing Blaze the way that they did, that's a different story. That's 40 gems that they just lost, and that can make all the difference here. Not even talking about the gap in experience that we have between the two teams now, as we have Big Click Energy about to hit level 16. Bit of a side note, just was some real life that came up on the blue team side, or sorry, the red team side, which is why they paused the game for just a second. Now that we have a numbers advantage, or at least had, they're trying to go for the boss too. Blessed Shield comes out again, maybe now. Anduin with a light bomb. Malfurion, oh my god, it's a triple kill. They're killing the entire team. It's a full team wipe. 5-man team wipe. As Nakiveen eliminates Big Click Energy and murders them on the spot. Level 16 for the blue team. And, well, at least initially they didn't care about that at all. They were able to get the hits in, get the kill. They went for the boss, got everybody back in time. Now the boss pushing at the top and taking another fort out. And that was, of course, massive. I mean, seriously. That push was absolutely fantastic for them. Huge gain. I mean, that was pretty much incredible. That was about the best thing that could have happened to them. And not only brought them back into the game, but also allowed them very easily to take the lead. 6 kills to 3. They have Blaze pushing the bot. The top lane still getting crushed by that boss. Blaze is going to get another fort for them, and they're closing in on another objective too. So this one was huge. Typical Tomb of the Spider Queen boss throw, essentially. To be fair, from the perspective of Big Click Energy, they were looking at this saying, hey guys, we got a level 16 talent, we got a 4 versus 5 in our favor, so let's just go straight for it. But they clumped up way too heavily over there, and everything just got used perfectly by Nakiveen to get those kills. They were able to get a good Blessed Shield of Johanna, stunned everyone out, follow up from Anduin's Light Bomb, Horrify used, and by that time we also had the team back with 5, and they could just crush the entire opposition. So nicely done. 1 level advantage now. And yeah, this was pretty big. It was very big. Actually, let's take another look at that fight, because that was huge. I mean, you see it right here. Blessed Shield comes out. Their talent down, by the way. They didn't expect that fight at all, but they were already a little bit low. And then everybody just gets completely murdered. Horrify was actually not used in that fight by Gul'dan, but it was just too much damage with Junkrat just shelling the shit out of them. Also Gul'dan coming in with his own damage, of course, and as I said before, the stuns that were chained were really making the difference. The boss, as an added factor, was of course pretty huge too. So now we have the red web weavers coming down. The team, oh, Blessed Shield, they want to force the fight again. Thrall gets the earthquake off. Low, Horrify, Thrall in trouble, and they don't focus. Oh, that's a missed opportunity. Okay, they missed out on, at a minimum, killing Thrall. They had that shot. That was an easy one right there. And, yeah, they just didn't. So, it's a little bit unfortunate for them. They definitely had a chance to kill Thrall, but now the blue team has reset. Web Weavers at the top might eliminate the keep, of course, over here in the middle. The attack keeps coming as we have the quest completed for Gul'dan. So this is really, really nice for that push, no matter if he goes for structures or the heroes. Jet propulsion. Didn't connect with anything. Gul'dan, on the other hand, gets some really good connects. Already the defense set up, and this keep is likely going to fall. I don't think they can defend this in time right now. So 1 keep about to go down. Thrall at the bottom of the map is still pushing a bit further. Blessed Shield again! And that's at a minimum gonna be a kill on Malfurion, but Jaina dies too. It's a double kill, baby! And now a chance to maybe go for the core. They got level 20 talents. So there's a huge opportunity right now. Jet propulsion on Lulnara, and she is gone. At this point, I don't really think they have to chase heroes that hard anymore, but they have an easy one on Thrall, so they come in and take him down too, and that of course opens the core up. Horrify gets used, but there's nothing that Garrosh can do in the first place. All they gotta do is focus the core down, and that's what they're doing. We're gonna see Big Click Energy again in the losers bracket of the tournament as Nakiveen moves on to the next round here in the winner bracket as they claim victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen, taking the series with a 2-0. Nicely done and well played. GG by Nakiveen.